should be fine most of the time. If it does happen, just let me know because the fix is like unplug and plug back in.
Okay.
It's really quick.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. Why don't we get started with this? Okay,
Sounds good.
so the Martditto. What what are some concerns that you have in this matchup and this
Mhm.
player, perhaps? You are the blue Mart,
Um,
correct?
yeah, I'm the Blue Marth. So this is, I think, the first time I played this player, but it, I felt certain, like I felt the same way I feel in a lot of Marthitos, in which I just feel like I'm not making any decisions in the matchup. It feels like the opponent is setting the pace for how the game's played, and I feel like I have no say in it in a way. Like all the decisions I make feel wrong because they all get beat by what my opponent's doing.
So
Um,
that would
and,
imply that your game plan is off.
and I feel like which leads me to then feel really lost because I feel like in this matchup I'm either beating my opponents pretty well or I'm getting dominated when I play like randoms online.
So what are you
Um,
doing?
um, I think I think like I hold in a lot. Like I try to go in a lot of times. Um,
What does that mean?
I do I think I have this very bad habit where I down tilt I'll down tilt the other Marth successfully and then I'll hold in and like run in at after him when I think I shouldn't be doing that because I there's nothing really I have that'll convert out of hitting a down tilt. Usually they can do something else out of that.
By going in, do you mean like you go in
I'll try to
for
like grab them.
okay, so you go for down tilt grab.
Yeah, I down tilt and then I push and I just I'll hit the down tilt and I'll push in with like a jump cancel grab.
Okay. Anything else?
Um, in general, I feel when I in the corner, I have a hard time getting out of it. Getting out of the corner, I feel like I run in and I tend to get I tend to get pushed away. Like I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I'll run into their hitboxes a lot, um, and generally not have a good feel for when I'm supposed to be shielding, um, and I feel like I don't juggle as well as I should be. I'm like not punishing very well when they're above me. Um, Trying to think of things that happen specifically in this game too. Um, Other things will be that I tend to get, yeah, I feel like I get stuck above the other Marths and they don't really get stuck above me.
Okay.
Um, and I just notice a lot of like, I'll tend to notice discrepancies because we're both playing the same character and it like I feel struggles in areas where I'm not imposing those same struggles.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
No, 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 yeah.
Um,
Another question I want to ask, which you kind of touched a little bit, is
mhm.
how do you feel about the punish game aspect of this matchup? Like, do you how do you feel about your throw follow-ups, your edge guards, and your
Mm.
juggles? Like, do you feel like they
I
are proficient or they need work?
I think my edge guards need work. My throw follow-ups I think are okay. I think I do pretty okay off of throw follow-ups. I don't think it's evidenced much in this set, but I usually do okay with throw follow-ups. And the initial I think I in general I have a decent punish game in this matchup, but I feel like um the juggle in particular when I'm just waiting for the other Marth player to come down, I don't think I ever like get a good like punish them for for whatever option they choose, or I just never catch them falling down. So that's an area of the punish game. I, at least I think it is.
What about edge guards?
In edge guards, I I have very few I only have specific situations where I feel comfortable in. So sometimes I'm good at reading when they want to use their double jump, and I'll hit them uh, with like a back air as they double jump or something, and then it's an easy edge guard. Um, but I think when they're good at conserving their resources and using them last moment, or when I don't really have the time to grab ledge or something like that, I don't feel very efficient. I
All
feel
right.
like I let them
Um,
back most of the time.
okay. And one more question. how do you feel like you cornered other Marth? Like, how well do you think you like bullied them with the
Keep them in the corner?
or
Mm,
how you contained them? Do you
not
find
not
yourself
well.
not well? Not well. Okay.
Not well. Think sometimes I notice that I'll like they're being repetitive with their options out of corner. Like they keep dash attacking or they keep trying to roll behind me.
Hmm.
And usually if they're really repetitive, I pick up on it. Um, but if they mix up decently well, I feel like I get beat a lot. Um, I think it's a matchup where I can notice myself doing mistakes. Not mistakes, I don't mean like that. I mean like I can notice like the things I'm doing and the reason they're getting punished fast, but sometimes but then I have other situations where I just feel completely lost because I'm
Okay.
like, I don't know why this guy is controlling the pace of the game, and at no point I'm doing the same thing.
Okay. All right. So I have some couple inputs to say.
Hmm.
Is that I think I've told you before in the Spaceys matchup, like Mark Fox
Hmm.
punish game is everything. Uh,
Yeah.
like the flow charts are very necessary. And in
Hmm.
some ways, that also applies to the Ditto, but not in a conventional manner. Like, you mentioned that your throw follow ups are fine, but they are not
Hmm.
everything in this matchup not
Hmm.
because like a lot of Mart's throw follow ups are not necessarily true. There's like a lot of DI mix ups, and
Yeah.
if they like come, then that's really nice and you know I'd say it's kind of like a gift from the other opponent. It's like, oh, you're having a
Yeah.
DI in? That's great for me.
Yeah.
But that's not
Yeah.
going to always happen.
Hmm.
What
Okay.
will be consistent, though, for the punish game in this matchup is juggles, edge guarding, and cornering. Those are like probably your main aspects of racking up damage and positioning and actually getting you games. And if you could get those aspects first, you
Hmm.
could have a pretty garbage neutral, but still be like a huge threat to the other Mart. Like, there's a reason why a lot of Marts don't like this matchup, and it's because like despite like the other Mart like not really having too much of a sense of neutral, like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter because if they are strong in those punish game areas, they win if they like can
Yeah.
execute it correctly, anyways. So I want to emphasize those three areas in particular because I think those are the most important areas to get down, as opposed to the throw follow-ups. Because throw follow-ups, they're you should learn them, but they're not as essential as opposed to learning juggles, cornering, and edge guarding.
When you said it feels like a gift from the opponent, yeah, it resonates a lot. Like
Yeah,
when I hit when I know to like when my opponent does like a simple DI away and I hit a pivot forward smash,
yeah, yeah.
but they don't
It's
because they didn't DI down and away. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, that's like
yeah. It's
I
like
shouldn't be doing that.
thanks, but I know this is ultimately a gimmick.
Yeah, I try not to rely on those things. I try to tell myself like I should be focusing on like
Yeah,
up
like
throwing and everything. But then I feel like that's the areas where like in tournament it'll come out a lot because it's where I lack. So then I go back to like the
yeah,
things that I know I can follow up on, and then I reinforce like my bad habits.
yeah. And also, I wouldn't. I would also add in tech chasing. Like, there's like, do you know what the Mewtwo King tech chasing is?
Is that when you four throws and then you like four dares
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's
to
really
cover the
useful in this
level?
matchup a lot too,
Yeah.
where at higher percents, when like up
Hmm.
throw follow-ups aren't guaranteed, doing the Mewtwo King tech chase is very useful as
Okay.
well. Um,
That's something I need to like incorporate like
so
completely.
aside
'Cause,
from that's like the very basic I could tell you, where like a Marth
mhm,
with a actual punish game is so much more threatening with like a Marth that's like has an okay handle, but like is complete garbage in those three areas. Like, there's no
mhm.
this is why I'm telling you this first. It's probably
Okay.
the most simplistic to understand, and we could get to more specifics on this later. As to your game plan, you say you move in, and then like when you get a down tilt, you try to go and grab.
A lot of
Um,
times.
that only works if they just stand still. If they like
Hmm.
move at all, then your
Yeah.
game plan is thwarted, and
Yeah.
it just becomes a test of just like r- recognizing the position and observing their
Hmm.
habits. Not every Marts. Some Marts will just stand still. Like, they would like take the down tilt and then like shield. They might roll in. They might dash back. They might do something else. There's a lot of branching habits that they could do, but most of the time they are habits. Like, I'll tell you that like 99% of Marts, for instance, when they get hit by down tilt, they will dash back. That's just a common meta thing to do. That if you were to analyze probably this smart. Like, if you were to hit him with down tilt, chances are, if he's not gonna CC down tilt back, he's probably gonna dash back. And do you think the correct call out is to run up grab after you hit
No,
the down tilt? No.
no.
It's either take space or like overshoot, dash attack, or another down tilt or F smash, whatever. But
Yeah.
like the wrong answer, just frankly, is run up grab.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you need to observe when you hit them with a down tilt, and also keep in mind that you all like since you two have like a sword. Sometimes you gotta respect that sword because like you also mentioned that like when you run in, it's like it doesn't feel like it's reaping you very much like benefits.
Reward. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta respect the down tilt. Like you have to like jump
Mm-hmm.
over the down tilt. You have to
Mm-hmm.
control space with your own down tilt.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
I
have to
feel
whiff
like I get
punish.
hit by their jumps
Yeah,
by their aerials in general more than I'm hitting them with mine. So
yeah.
I feel like I'm
Then
not doing mine in the right situations.
then that means you need to respect the sword. Like
Mm-hmm.
you likely need to be closer to whiff punish.
Mm-hmm.
I would need to see the situations to know for sure, but it either means the following things, which is you need to use your sword, you need weave around their sword,
Mm-hmm.
or you need no wait, yeah, it's just those two things.
Okay. Okay.
So, do you have any other concerns?
With this matchup, um, I can't really think of them right now. I think this is mostly it. I think my yeah, I think not having a solid game plan that I rely on um, is one of the main things hurting me because I think that's what leads me to feeling like I have no input in what how the matchup is gonna go. I feel like I'm just waiting for I feel like I'm just preying on the other guy making like the mistake to that leads into my punish game. Meanwhile, they're like calling all the shots the whole way through. So I think those. I mean, I think that that's like something that's related to game plan issues,
All right,
like you said.
all right. Then feel free to unpause whenever you're ready.
Okay. So yeah, I just watched this beforehand and I noticed that some like I tried to like remember what things were just technical errors and what things were like
Okay.
me just not being aware.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of technical errors. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue is playing in tournament and not messing up nearly as much.
That was a good edge code.
So I feel like in these situations, um, I get so like I had I noticed this already. I noticed this already. Like I don't know why I downed it. Why I did the like for, I did the forward air, hoping I'd hit their like the hit Marth trying to miss the sweet spot or something. But
Um,
then I always do the down tilt, and I feel like I should just be backing away because
um,
then I got hit by their like get on, get over, get up on, get up from ledge option.
well, I don't necessarily blame you for going for the down tilt because if you were to hit with the fair, then the
I
down
wanted
tilt
to
would
do that.
kill.
Hmm.
But there's just the problem is that you missed time the fair.
Hmm. Okay.
That's what happened here, where if you actually go a little frame by frame, uh, yeah, you timed this fair a little too early, and
Yeah.
also because up B is a little hard to weave around with using fair yourself. It's possible. I'm not saying
It's
it's impossible
possible.
at
Yeah.
all, but I would prefer just staying on stage and space it down to an S smash because it's a lot easier to weave to like outspace up B
Hmm.
using my grounded sword
Hmm.
tools rather than uh, tightly
Yeah.
weaving around it
Yeah.
with my fair. So it could
Hmm.
work, but I would rather just stay on stage.
Yeah, just stick to something that's simpler.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
simplicity gets things done.
So like, I mean, I feel like I had him in a situation where I was at an advantage because
Yeah.
I get center stage,
Hmm.
um, and then I lose that like run off fair, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to counter it with my nair.
Hmm.
Um, I think like if I know now a bit better that if they're coming at me from above, uh, especially like that sort of diagonal above, I should probably try to counter with my own fair.
Yeah,
Um,
because what are the properties of fair? Like, how does fair function? How does
yeah,
it
it
come
comes
out?
from up and down, up to down.
And
So
when the other Marth is fairing from the platform,
mhm.
uh,
his yeah, the hitbox will hit me later because I'm below him. So like
yeah,
my favorable hitbox comes out faster than his favorable one.
yeah, exactly. Since yours comes out of the top, his comes out of the bottom. If theoretically you both were to put out a fair first, or you both
Mm-hmm.
went out or put out a fair at the same time,
I win.
you would win.
Yeah. Hmm.
But instead, you chose to go for Nair, which is a lot more horizontal of a hitbox, and therefore
Hmm.
you lost instead, because
Yeah.
it's actually lower a lower arc than fair. So it doesn't even
Hmm.
if you're first, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only scenario where I think Nair would win is if one he doesn't do the fair, or two you have to be more horizontal. Even then, I don't
Okay.
know if Nair outspaces fair, so I don't think that would work.
Yeah.
It's a low chance that would work. So I would always recommend going for fair if the Marth
Fine.
tries to run off fair.
Yeah. So if I know, like, yeah, okay. Because I think I was conscious at the time, like, I want to cover their option coming from the platform, but I had like a bad move choice in this case.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I wave dashed, but I was like, I decided I wasn't gonna hit a
You,
shield drop.
yeah, you're not confident in your shield drops.
I am usually, but I was convinced in that situation I'm not gonna hit it, so I'm just gonna wave dash. And I don't know. I think like I have to just spend a ton of time on Uncle Punch. So
All
this
right,
is
let me ask you a
when
question
I watch
before.
it.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. How much do
Mhm.
you think this matchup is because of your lack of matchup experience or your fundamental tech skill
um,
or your execution, rather?
I feel like I've had because I've had days where I feel like I'm executing really well. I can't. In retrospect, maybe those are better VODs to look at as well. But I feel like it's a good mix of those two things. Um, but my tech skill in tournament has such high variance that I try to look at the the one thing that feels consistent every time I play against Marth is that I do feel the like general I generally feel lost. Um, especially I feel like yeah, in general I'm not as proactive as the other Marth in deciding how the matchup is going. I don't know. I never felt like it was too attached to my execution.
Ooh,
In this matchup, in this game in particular, I don't think I'm execute. I think I'm executing pretty poorly, but
yeah.
I'm Um, I feel like in a lot of situations I'm just making wrong choices, and I have a hard time understanding why I'm making them.
Well, yeah, well, for at least for this first two stocks, to me, it looks like 90% of what happened was you messing up your tech skill.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't it had very little to do with decision making from my point of view. Like there were some few things here and there that like legitimately like you had like the wrong game plan, but like a lot of it like I'm seeing a bunch of messed up tech skill execution and like lack of shield drops. Like a lot of fundamental things that uh like to me I would just say practice like those like little things.
Yeah.
But that's all I wanted to point out because to me it looked like you lost these last two stocks because of like execution rather than like getting outplayed or like lacking a game plan.
Okay.
But like yeah, for these like next 5 seconds, like what do you think happened? Is it an execution error or rather a game plan error?
In these next 5 seconds,
Yeah,
I feel
like
like this is
yeah, this is
uh
what do you think this is?
I I mean I think I'm this I mean there's definitely execution error because I'm crouch canceling a bunch of moves and I can get something out of it.
Yeah, you're
Um
like absurdly frame positive. Like Mart's no
mhm,
affair, it's like kind of fast, but it's not that fast. You actually have
mhm.
like a decent amount of time to punish a lot of these. You could have like even whiff punished it. You didn't have to crouch cancel it, and then you miss a wave dash out shield at the end. Like that's like kind of a odd mistake. Like you really shouldn't be mistiming these at all. Um, like you could have easily gone like CC grab or like you could have CC'd S smash any of that. You could have CC'd dash back. Uh, yeah, this is all execution error from my point of view, rather than like a lack of game plan. Are you here?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Um, I think like yeah, and these I think it's also very like I think I get into this situation where I mean like I go out of sync with how I'm like with my timing for when I'm supposed to punish these things. And I think that's might be because I don't have like individual like each individual situation down. Um,
Well,
but at this,
for me, like whenever I'm CCing a move, I'm spamming like shield grab. Like in this instance, like I
mhm,
react to that. Like I have like this little stimulus where like, oh, I'm getting hit, RA. Like
mhm,
that's my
yeah,
go-to. Like that's something I expend very little thinking power on because it's just so
yeah,
second nature to me. And I don't know
mhm,
how you would like necessarily think about this, but for me, it's like an instinct to just RA right here, shield grab this because I
yeah,
just
just chill
CC'd.
grab
He's
them.
so close to me. He's also on a lot of
Yeah,
lag, so that's an
yeah.
easy crouch cancel grab if I've ever seen one. No,
Oh,
no,
this
no.
is just
Yeah, another
that's
execution error, dude.
yeah. This game one is really
Yeah,
something. That's another one.
yeah. I'm also seeing a lot of like there's like also a little lack of matchup knowledge on your end too, from these throws and punishes.
Yeah, the
There's a
back
lot of
throw.
little things I could,
I
yeah.
don't know why the back throw came out because that's like I almost never back throw unless it has to be very like a very like I think about I want to back throw. So it's a very odd one to me. I almost think I'm trying to find where that happens with. It's right out, yeah, it's right when I come down. So I'm pretty sure I shouldn't have snapback, but it's almost what it looked like. Um, where do you say like I have is it because of my throw like my throws and the follow-ups after throw that I have no um matchup knowledge? Like I don't have like the
There,
matchup
it's
knowledge
like
for.
sometimes you're not DIing the throws properly. There's like some follow-ups I think you could have done better.
Mhm.
Like there's actually a little trick where if you crouch right in front of Marth, his sword can't hit you. It like just Roy zones. So that's like a really
Mm.
free tech chase
Marth
right there.
and Marth can hit that spacing. I thought he couldn't.
Try it out
I've,
yourself.
I've
Try it out
yeah
yourself. Crouch
I've had
right.
it done to me,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
I thought it was I've only had Sheik players do it to me, so I thought it was a Sheik specific thing.
No, yeah, Mark can do it
Okay.
too. So
Okay.
there's that. And then just like when trying to recover from the corner, try not to ledge dash too much because you're not given a lot of invincibility and they could just like hit you out of it.
Just throw out a move. Yeah.
So I would recommend a different flowchart. You could ledge dash, but not very often. And then like you just killed yourself. Like I
Yeah.
think you would have won this match if you just had your execution correct. As
Hmm.
I know that's like not really what you want to hear, but
Yeah,
that's
no,
literally
that's
what I
okay.
saw.
That's okay.
At least for this game one.
For this game one, I think that's. I mean, when I went over it again by myself, I was like, maybe this game one isn't like great, but I still have the same question. I would have had the same questions at the beginning. I think I have like older sets of me in Marthito where I'm executing a little bit better, um, and it doesn't feel like I'm losing just to execution. It just feels like my opponent is outclassing me in the punish game, and um, what you said at the beginning, where even if I'm like my neutral game is up to par, if they're boxing me out better and like if they're punishing me harder in the corner, or if they're edge guarding me better than I'm them, it's gonna flip them. It's that's gonna. It feels like a drastic difference in the
Yeah,
matchup.
while I agree with that, the fundamentals for that work, like that's under the assumptions that your
Mhm.
execution is on par.
It's fun. Hmm.
If your execution
Yeah.
is not on par, then what I said earlier is like way harder to achieve.
Hmm.
Cause like, what's the point of building up all this punish game when you're just gonna throw it away yourself at some point?
Yeah.
So what's more important actually is your execution is what I want to get across. And then after your execution is a little bit more consistent, then the punish game becomes a more priority.
Yeah. So
So
I think in
that's just my
particular,
thoughts.
uh, I would say like, especially after that game, my execution in defensive situations is like what's lacking the most
Yeah.
because I'm missing a lot of like free
Yeah, dude, you got a CC
uh
grab. It's just
yeah,
so
I'm missing like the free
necessary.
grabs. Yeah. See, listen, I don't know if it's a European thing, but people CC a lot less here, man.
Well, that makes it easier for you, dude.
It just make it way easier
That
for
that
me,
means they
but
don't
it's
have the
really
habit.
hard.
They don't have the
It
habit
was
to space.
it's yeah, it's really uncommon for people. That's one thing I hear a lot when people finally travel to America is that everyone knows to crouch cancel grab.
Oh, so they're
Um,
calling us lame.
no, but they just call you prepared. It's like
Yeah.
everyone's just ready for it.
Yeah, no,
Everyone has
I grew up in an area where defensive stuff is being pushed to the max, like arms
mm,
attacking and various other things, and I just had to pick up on it. Slide offs.
yeah,
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 I picked up on that very early, and I'd imagine
yeah,
how that might be a weird thing to adopt in a lesser region. But
yeah, yeah.
it's good to know now at least that
It
for
is.
this,
I mean, these are issues I'm happy to have because it's
yeah.
like that's way easier to fix.
So if there's one takeaway I want you to at least like improve on, you need a CC
Mm,
grab. You need to make that an instinct because that's so
mm,
like for Marth, that's really powerful. Like CC grab on Marth,
yeah,
you
I
just
get
got
it
like a pretty
versus
good throw follow up.
I'm starting to. It's just incorporating CC grab has been. I realize like it feels like nobody pushes you to have to do it because it's almost not part of in so many people's game plan here. But I realize like I've become better at implementing it in versus Fox and versus Falco sometimes. Like I have a hard time recognizing like the moments where I'm gonna get a CC, they're gonna hit me, I'm crouching, I just get a free grab. But that's something I just have to like. Maybe I think I just spam crouch cancel grab until I recognize the situations.
Yeah, I think it's generally better to spam crouch cancel grab than not because of
Yeah.
probably how often it's gonna work anyways. So I encourage
Mhm.
you to do it even if it doesn't work out in all situations.
Okay. Yeah, it's the down tilt run in grab right after. This is a situation that I think happens to me a lot. Is I have him in the air and I think I almost always get beat by their coming down option. So I think I have a very like I don't have a good idea of what I should be going for when they're coming down.
So
Like,
why not talk about it? So what makes you struggle the most when Mart is coming down?
I get hit a lot by this type of forward there, and I get hit a lot by downer. Actually, I think I miss space versus downer a lot.
Okay.
Those two
Which
are
one
the
of the
big
two do you think is harder to play around?
the forward there.
The forward air. And
The
forward air is a great hitbox, like, and even if they whiff it, it's low lag, so it's only natural that they do it. Here are two things you could do against fair in particular. You could either try your own fair, because again, yours comes out first,
Yeah.
so keep that in mind. But also, you could also whiff punish grab, like, cause even though it
Hmm.
is low lag, it is still lag. Like they're landing fair, and if you're right outside of it, you could either like you could whiff punish it with a grab, or like maybe even outspace it with an S smash.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
it is kind of tricky. I will give you that. So that's why I actually encourage that you play around Dare instead, because
Mm. Getting hit by there
let's
is way worse, I feel like.
let's review this position. So you're here. You're
Yeah.
like pretty diagonal to Marth. He's drifting away here, and
Hmm.
this is like his possible fair, and you are here.
Hmm.
You are most certainly trying to deal with his fair, and like
Yeah.
makes it a little tough. Not gonna lie, but what if you were here? Now Mart's fair, like he can't fair you here, like
Yeah.
like his fair hitbox just won't reach, so he's forced to use a dare hitbox
Hmm.
down here, and you could try to outspace dare, like it could work, like you could use up tilt, I guess, maybe up air, but
Hmm.
dare hitbox is pretty big. But what do you think is a fatal flaw of dare?
Oh, I mean the lag,
The
the
lag,
ending
dude,
lag.
the freaking lag.
He's gonna have to hit me really high probably on shield.
Yeah, and
I just think it's gonna be a terrible situation if I shield it.
there's
Right.
also actually a little trick too, where like a lot of times Mart, like if they go for like an early dare up here, like if they go for an early dare, they are screwed because like they there's like none of Mart's swords are lasting hitbox, correct? So
Yeah, it's just a few frames.
so if they just like put it out as early as possible, like they can't do anything. Like they're
Hmm.
stuck in that animation and the lag afterwards. So they're not
Hmm.
gonna put out a dare as soon as possible. They're gonna try to put out as late as possible, actually. So, but one way to encourage, putting out that early dare is if you like short hop or full hop. Most of the time, it's gonna be a short hop. If you short hop at them, then that encourages them to swing their dare earlier, making
Hmm.
their landing much worse.
Yeah.
So if you could bait with a short hop, if you have enough
Yeah.
time, then that gets out this early dare that makes it super bad for the juggled Marth. And then
Okay.
what you could do, don't try to challenge it. Like you can. I'm not saying it's
Hmm.
impossible, but what I think is better is to weave around it. Like use your movement. Like be here
Hmm.
and then move back, and then like S
Hmm.
smash or grab or whatever you desire. Or
Okay.
like you could dash back and then dash in fair if you don't want it to land.
Hmm. Okay.
And if you don't have enough time to show up, this is still like a good spot. Like if even if you're making him dare here, that's still a good spot because he still has a lot of lag, and you have a lot of time to punish. So I would recommend instead of being diagonal to Marth, you could be directly below him to force that dare hitbox.
Okay.
And if you can't get directly below him, then either try beating the fairs like the way I outlined, or just play the next
Mhm.
position because sometimes it's not worth it to like if they're like super low to the ground like
Yeah.
here,
Just the
like
they're gonna
you're
land.
not gonna juggle them. Like
Hmm.
it's just a fact. So that is like a basic outline of juggling. Do you have any
Hmm.
questions on how to further deal with this?
So I'm just gonna recap a little bit. So like he wants to, so dealing with the fair is is much harder. So
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do is put myself in a situation where I only have to deal with the down air, or where I'm baiting out dealing with a down air, because that'll be like just easier to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, like I think what other things can they do? They can side B to stall, but I think like that's
So
if they.
there's another component to this is their resources. A lot of marts they
Mhm.
won't just necessarily come down with an aerial right away. They're gonna try to stall a little
Yeah,
bit. They're gonna try to side B.
yeah,
They're gonna just try to double jump.
yeah.
So your job as the juggler is to try to exhaust that. You could often bait that
Mhm.
out with a short hop, like making it look like you're gonna
Yeah.
lunge at them with an up air, or
Mm.
it could just be their habit in the first place. Like a lot of marts, 99% of them will like start off with a side B or a double jump. And as soon as they exhaust those two, then this whole juggle outline I've uh I've just told you becomes a lot more effective because now it's their only option.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when they still
Once
have
they've run
those,
out of.
yeah, and when they still have
Mhm.
those options, then it becomes a little bit more of a mix-up game, but still in your favor. You still have like a lot of pressure to exert.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, this is like the basic foundations of juggling, where like it's not exactly there's like weird misconceptions of juggling in general with Marth, where like, oh yeah, just infinite up airs of Marth or something
Yes.
like just
Yeah.
outspace with your sword, and it's more character dependent than anything. If you've noticed, I'm suggesting to exploit the other character's weak points and getting down rather than like, you know, oh just use your sword, just up air.
Mhm.
I don't know, like
Mhm.
that's not really an efficient and effective way of juggling. Like you gotta
Okay.
try to find like weak spots of the way how your opponent goes down. Like this kind of juggling is not the exact same way you would juggle a Peach, for example, or a Sheik. I would suggest
Mhm.
different things.
Okay.
Actually, this is kind of
Okay.
similar to Sheik, but no, you get my
Yeah, I
point.
felt actually like yeah, I'm like when I've noticed that like when I'm my position in relation to Sheik when she's coming down, um, like the different moves that they'll use to escape, and I should try to put myself in a position where I know the type of move they want to do, and I know how to punish that, and just put myself in a position where my answer is easy
Yeah,
or just really
yeah,
strong.
that's really the goal of juggling is to like
Hmm.
put yourself in positions. Really, that's like half the juggle battle.
Hmm. Okay.
So, you have any other questions?
About juggling, no. I think yeah, I think this is a good point to be
Yeah,
on. Um, let's let's see how. Oh, yeah,
yeah. Another
yikes.
execution error.
Yeah, I don't know why I even forward smashed there. Like I've asked a lot of
Because
questions.
you really wanna hit him.
I
That's
really
why.
want to kill. Yeah, I really want to get him dead. I keep doing this like the dash back pivot forward smash, but people just hold shield. He learned that you can just hold shield.
You gotta grab that in response.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying those way dash out shields, so he's being liberal with these S smashes. And again, another execution error.
Okay, definitely got him to shield grab me. Only took how many of those? Five.
Let's not worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Um, but it's like yeah, I feel uh, I gotta probably too hungry to get him to like just hit him with the strong move.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a prime juggle spot if I've ever seen one.
Prime juggle spot.
Yeah, I would have,
Okay.
because
I
this
want to hit.
was actually a pretty bad side B from the Green Marth. It's a very common habit when they come down, they side B stall, and that's like
Hmm.
your time to pounce. Like
Yeah, because
it's always
it's
a good
kind of
idea
in
to
that.
like wait out that side B and then like fair,
Mhm.
fair, fair, dare maybe. But That was a time to pounce if there ever was one. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
You miss.
I'm just saying my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is it paused on your end? Right.
So let me ask you a
It's
question.
back. Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking this sequence? Like, I'm just curious. Like, what are you curious about?
So this like
This whole
this
sequence.
whole sequence, this whole
Yeah.
sequence,
Right before, you get hit.
this whole time I'm just thinking, what he's shielding for way longer than like um he did in the previous game. Um, and I'm like, why is he shielding for this long? I feel like he's, I feel like I should be punishing this really hard, but instead of grabbing, I thought he's just gonna hold shield there. So I'll try and shield break that. But then I don't. I'm trying to understand. Like I think this, the nair I do in this like yeah, it's more of an act of desperation because I think okay, he's in the corner. Um, he's gonna try run at me or um, I feel like I'm just not playing with like any. I'm not taking in any data from what he's done the whole game, and I'm just hoping that the
Yeah.
moves will hit. Honestly, there's no like real. I feel like there's no real.
So
Uh,
let me give you a better. I think I'll give you a perspective shift on this matchup where I see you constantly move in. Like even after this, like you keep trying to like down tilt. Like you're trying to like down tilt at him. And Marth is not exactly a spacey. You understand that, right?
yeah.
Like spaceys, they love throwing out moves because um it has great frame data. It could create a lot of positive situations, and that's who they are. Like they have great pressures through going for nair shine, and like that's one of their greatest strengths actually. Marth, on the other hand, he doesn't exactly have fast moves. Well, he kind of does, but like they're not exactly like spacey frame data. Exactly. Like they're great, but in different regards. They are great in the fact that because they can zone out their opponent, it exerts a lot of control. You don't use Marth's sword to like force things per se, but rather the threats and the range like the zoning that it exudes to like kind of like mind bend your opponent to your will, if that makes any sense. Because for
I think I know.
example, for example,
Yeah.
you've been threatening a lot of no, not necessarily threatening. You've been throwing out a lot of down tilts. So what if
Mhm.
instead of throwing out that down tilt, you just make it look like you're about to down tilt and then dash back, grab that nair? What if you did
Yeah.
that?
Hmm.
What do you think would like if
I
you
mean, I would
faked
just
a down
easy,
tilt? Yeah, that would have been an easy pivot
easy
grab or
around.
like whip punish grab.
Hmm. Because
This is like that's like the essence of what I'm talking about. Of
mhm.
Marth is not a spacey, but Marth is Marth, where like
I
he
can
can
condition.
control. Yeah, he sets up conditioning with his ginormous
Mhm.
sword,
Mhm.
and he influences because like this Marth understands the basic principle that he cannot directly like challenge Marth's sword into the ground, and he's taking advantage of down tilt's weakness of it
Being
doesn't
very
cover the
rapid.
air, so
Hmm.
therefore this Marth
Yeah.
jumps. So if you're making the other Marth jump, you could then take advantage of that jump by like dash back grab or like hitting him with your own sword. Like when he like does like an empty aerial, you could like then hit him with your fair and air, right? So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is swing less and use your eyes. Like just pay attention, like with what's
Yeah,
happening. Like pay
I
attention
think.
to the effects of what your sword is doing. Like use it more so to
Mhm.
control space and manipulating your opponent rather than like down tilting for the sake of hitting him. Like because like down
Mhm.
tilt as a move is actually not that great, especially
Mhm.
if when CC becomes more common. Like the hilt of down tilt is actually worthless.
Yeah, they'll just grab me for free, right?
Yeah. So
Um,
the true strength of down tilt is actually just manipulating your opponent rather than like actually like whatever you think it does.
yeah, and the thing is, I think intellectually, I've like started to understand how to use down tilt. Um, I try to versus Fox, like I try to use it as like my. I watched your video of getting coached, your video with Sane, and I realized like that I was using down tilt in the completely wrong way in a lot of matchups. But I haven't like um, I think that I haven't quite implemented that understanding into game yet,
Yeah.
into gameplay yet, because I'm still relying on like the old way I used down tilt, which is just like I'm gonna hit him with something that I can dash back out of if I need to.
Yeah. Just remember that when
Very-
you're using down tilt and they counter hit you with like a nair or a dash attack, just remember that you did influence them, but you overdid
Mhm.
it. Like you didn't have to swing that down tilt. You could have done something else.
I could have done just dash backed before I
Yeah.
down tilted.
Yeah. You need to
Yeah,
use the threat of down tilt rather than uh
the down tilt is like the
yeah, sometimes you could use the down tilt itself, but
mhm.
this is like the true crux of down tilt.
Yeah, it's good for collecting data.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want you to relook the situation and see what you think of it.
Mhm. Okay, I'll unpause. Okay, so like I down. I think I went back a little too much, but yeah, down tilting, and he gave me the whole stage essentially,
Hmm.
and I think like I have no need to like nair at him like this. If I can, he's full he's I'm trying to not look at what he not get influenced by the decision he makes afterwards, but um, what was the advance by frame
It's a period.
period? Down tilting here is fine, but I'm not quite sure. Like I just get more stage after this. He rolls away. I'm trying to. I'll just unpause now because I don't know why I would neutral be at all anymore. I don't think
Yeah, you wanted to break his shield.
I wanted to break his shield, yeah, but like I think I can um I can either just stand my ground and wait for him to because he's in shield. I'm at 0%. I'm like well spaced on his shield, I think. Oh, that was too much. Yeah, I'm really well spaced on his shield. Oh, come on. Yeah. I think I could have just waited instead throughout this whole interaction. Because I have center stage and I had no reason to commit here with like the snare. I could even try to poke again with down tilt and see what he wants to do. This is
There was that
yep.
that again where he
Keeps
jumped over
jumping
your
over
down
my
tilt.
yeah, keeps jumping over my down tilt.
Could have done the Mewtwo King check chase better, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not like realizing it, but he's shielded so many of my down tilts at this point that I should probably just be running up grabbing
Actually,
a lot
actually,
more.
let me talk more about that part.
Mm-hmm.
I would only recommend grabbing their shield if they are expecting an S smash. If
Mm.
not, I think pretty much down tilting their shield is fine. Cause like you are still positive in that situation. Just like playing around their shield with like down tilt and like spacing a fair is completely fine, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
They
So
have to prove
I think
sometime.
like
Cause
mhm.
like
Yeah.
you don't
Go ahead.
always want to grab their shield because like they could spot dodge and do shenanigans.
Mhm. That's true. Okay.
It's just giving you that note.
Yeah. So just like the like safe down tilts on shield and just
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing
I
wrong
can
with
just wait sometimes.
yeah, and you could just wait.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I get him again. He's truly. If I, it's broken clock is right 2 times a day, right?
There, he whiff punished your fair. That's kind of what I'm talking about.
Mm. My fair coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he waited for my. Yeah, with the. I just side bead. He's like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Although I will suggest that instead of shielding, you dash back, so you make it a lot harder to get that whiff punish.
Mm.
So you exhausted his side B and double jump, and that would have been a better time to pounce. Just saying.
Mm.
I would have gone cover a Ken combo, by the way.
When what? This it after the throw. After the throw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he would have connected the forger, I guess.
hmm and
Um.
like every Mart's
I
gonna DI
mean,
in that.
yeah, because they're expecting a forward smash.
Yeah.
A good point. Because I was thinking in my mind, oh, what if he DIs away? But
Yeah.
I wanted a
Notice
DI
that
away.
last down tilt, by the way. He jumped over it. He was expecting your down tilt. Could have
Hmm.
used that against him.
Yeah, he's
So I think
marrying out
game
of the
two was
corner.
more representative of what you were telling me earlier, where
Yeah.
you felt like your down tilts didn't work, and they didn't work because you kept throwing it out. And if you just throw it out mindlessly, it will
Hmm.
always be beaten. That's like a golden rule of melee, really. Is like if you do something all the time, it's just gonna be beaten. No matter how nuanced and good you think it is, it will. Someone will find a way to beat it. But anyways, um, so my overall thoughts is that like game one, like it was all execution. Like I don't. There's no other way to put it. It's like the
Yeah.
execution could have used a lot of work, and
No, no.
if you just practice, you make CC grab second nature. That's fine. Like that's all you need to work on, really, and like other things too. Game two,
Yeah,
on the
but
other hand, I it's a little bit more nuanced. Uh, we talked a lot about juggling positions and
mhm.
some uh, and the reason why your down tilts don't work. We didn't
Mhm.
go as much into cornering and edge guarding as much. So if you want to
Yeah,
talk about that
it
at a
didn't
later,
really.
yeah, it didn't really come up. So if you want, and getting out of the corner yourself. So if you want to talk about that at a later time, we could schedule another one sometime.
Yeah,
So
that'd be fine.
yeah,
I think game two, like you said, I think portrayed a lot more of my problems with the matchup
yeah,
than game one.
yeah.
But yeah,
So
the it's still even still like yeah, very very helpful.
yeah.
Mm.
So do you have any other questions?
Um, no, I don't think so right now. I mean, I'll keep like I'll remember next time I play another Marth, and I'll try to uh keep in mind like if like the edgeguard situations happen more, I'll let you know. Because I definitely like want that looked at better. It's just that doesn't really come up this entire set.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. Why don't I
that's
give you some bullet points to
I would
from
love that
these,
actually.
yeah, takeaways from this
They
lesson?
really helped me out.
So what?
Versus Fox style, I'm playing very different nowadays, and I
I'm
actually
glad
feel
you
like I
are.
have a game plan.
So number one, polish your execution. CC grab, shield drops, proper recovery spacing. Hiccups with movement, refine punishes, etc. So that's number one. What? Yeah, so it lists it there. So two, and I'm gonna copy and paste this on Discord so stream can see. So two, jug, punish, juggles. Positioning matters a lot. Burning their resources, double jump and side B, mat impacts how you juggle. Fair is possible to punish, but dare is the most ideal. So be directly below them and move and set up baits with shrub if possible and weave around there. So that's number two. Three, down. Don't spam down tilt. Use it to control and manipulate your opponent. If you are getting hit out of down tilt via outplays, such as them jumping, you are messing up and overusing down tilt. Use it sparingly. And to set up situations. Anything else? Anything else to point out?
I think three notes cover it.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything.
Yeah,
So,
what we went over.
huh?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just meant yeah, it covers what we went over. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other questions about this matchup
Um,
regarding what we talked
no,
about? Because there's
yeah,
definitely
regarding
more
what we,
things we could talk about, but
yeah,
yeah.
there's a ton
So
to talk about. But like, no, regarding what we talked about, I think it was pretty clear. I get like a pretty clear idea of like the things I can work on and why the like in particular why game two, because game one I figured it was execution, but game two I got like a really good idea why what I was going for wasn't working out anymore. Um, so yeah, I think I'm good.
all right. Well, I hope this helps you out, and
Thank you.
I'll see you another time.
Sounds good. Take care.